Have you ever headed out with your camera and struggled to find something to photograph? Or been so overwhelmed by the beauty that you don't know where to start? My name is Kim Grant, a nature photographer from Scotland with a particular interest in health and wellness. And in this video, I'm going to share a finger exercise with you to help you expand your vision and begin to see all the incredible photographic opportunities that mean something to you. Let the journey begin. So I'm beginning today's video from somewhere a little bit different, inside. And the reason for this is because I thought it would be nice to talk you through step by step how to do this exercise before, in the second half of the video, going out and using this exercise in my photographic practice. Now, often when I'm hosting online sessions, I'll meet with a group of people via Zoom and we'll do an exercise in the comfort of our home. And then what we learn during that time can then be brought out into nature next time everybody goes out with their camera. And I find that it works quite well. So I wanted to try this out today on YouTube and see if it's a great way to teach an exercise so that you can begin to practice these things in the comfort of your home. So then when you go out there into nature, you know what you're doing and you're ready to create beautiful images. Now, before I share this exercise with you, I thought it would be interesting to give you the backstory of where this exercise came from, just to give you a little bit of an idea of why I feel this is really good to implement into your photography. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I went to a yoga and QiGong class. Now, QiGong is part of Chinese medicine. It's a practice where you use movement, breath, and meditation to be able to move qi through your body, which is essentially your life force energy. Now, you may be wondering what this has got to do with photography, but bear with me because it's very relevant and you'll see why in a minute. In QiGong, every season of the year is linked to an element. It's also linked to a major organ as well as a sense organ. And spring is linked to the element of wood. It's linked to our liver and gallbladder, and the sense organ is our eyes, which of course, with photography being a very visual art form, it's very fitting for us photographers. And during the session, one of the exercises we did was about engaging our eyes and begin to become aware of what's going on in our peripheral vision. And when I was doing this exercise in the class, I instantly thought this would be a fantastic thing to implement into our photography, because I find when I'm working with clients, two of the biggest struggles people have is that they either head out with their camera and they can't find anything that interests them to photograph, or they head out and they see so much beauty and they get so excited by it all that they struggle to slow down and then create images that really mean something to them. And I feel that this exercise can suit both of those categories. So if you fall into either of those categories, or if you're just simply interested in trying this exercise, I'm certain that it will help your photography as well as your vision in general. Now, I have a question for you. Are you aware what's going on in your peripheral vision? In other words, are you just aware what's going on here, directly in front of you, or are you also aware what's going on out here? And that's essentially what this exercise is going to help you to begin to see. So I invite you right now to sit down or stand somewhere comfortable and do this exercise with me. Now take one of your index fingers, put it right out in front of you, and then focus on something behind the finger, something static. And then slowly begin to move that finger out to the side and take it as far to the side as you can before you can no longer see it. And now switch sides, do the same with the other side. Take your other index finger out in front of you, focus behind it, and then slowly move it out to the side as far as you can before you can't see it anymore. Now just rub your hands together to create some energy in the form of heat and put it over your eyes just to give them some nourishment. Because when you're doing focus exercises like this, it can put just a little bit of strain on your eyes. So just to give it some energy back in. Now my question to you is, when you did this, could you see further to the sides of your vision than you expected to? One thing I find in life is that we often get so focused on what is directly in front of us that we often miss all of the opportunities that surrounds us. And on the other hand, sometimes we can see so much that we don't know what to focus on. And when I go out into nature, I'm going to show you how, if you fall into either of these categories that I mentioned, I'll be able to talk you through how this exercise can help both situations. But before I head out and do that, I'm just going to introduce you to the sponsor of today's video. MPB.
Sticking with the theme of spring, I have a video on my channel entitled 8 Ways to Celebrate the Spring Equinox. One of those ways is spring cleaning. As well as generally cleaning your home, this is also a great time of year to donate or sell things you no longer need. And this is where MPB comes in. With MPB, you can buy, sell and trade used camera gear. If you have camera gear that you no longer use, why not check out MPB this spring? It's easy. All you have to do is type in the name and condition of the gear you wish to sell. A quote will then be generated within seconds. If you're happy with the quote and accept it, a fully insured courier can be organised to collect the gear from your door on a day that suits you for free. Once the gear is received and checked by MPB, they will pay cash directly into your bank account within days. It's that easy. So if you have camera gear you'd like to sell this spring, head over to MPB. It's quicker, easier and safer than dealing with marketplaces.
So it's now time to get back to the exercise, and I'm now out here in nature. I've decided to come to the coast today because it's a glorious sunny day and the sea is so beautiful. And what I'm going to do is repeat this exercise but out here in nature and then apply it to photography. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, there's two situations when I feel this exercise can come in really handy. The first is when you come on location and you just really struggle to find something to photograph, and the second is when you come on location and there's just so much beauty around you and you're so excited that you struggle to slow down and actually create images. Now, today arguably could be quite a challenging day for photography. First of all, I've come out in the midday sun, so the light is relatively harsh. Secondly, there's barely any clouds in the sky today and it's actually quite hazy over the sea, so there's not too much interest going on up here, arguably. And thirdly, the tide is in, so there's no pools of water, there's no patterns in the sands. But by using this exercise to expand my vision, I'm very confident that I'm going to find something to photograph. So what I'm going to do right now is turn myself around to look at the sea, and I'm going to physically do the exercise and talk you through what I'm seeing as I do it. So first things first, I'm going to take off my sunglasses because they're polarised, so that'll of course have an effect on what I end up seeing. I'm now just simply going to sit here, put my finger out in front of me, as I did at home, focus on something in the distance. I'm very lucky here because there's actually an orange buoy right in front of me that I can focus on. And I'm just slowly going to move my finger out, still looking forwards, and see what I can see in my peripheral vision. And it takes me all the way to here. Now, what I've noticed in this situation is that the vast majority of what I'm looking at right now is the sea, and the colour of the sea is so enticing. But then as I get closer to this side, I begin to see some movement of the grasses. So that's another thing I can identify there as a possible photographic subject. And I'll do the same on this side, move round. I can see some more movement. I've got some grasses closer to me this time which are really moving and catching my attention. Oh, a fly or a bee or something just flew past over here. And then I can also see there's something here that's very shadowy, which there's a big shadow here, which I didn't actually notice before doing this exercise. So straight away I can see what I'm noticing here. The colour of the sea is very poignant today, it's beautiful. We've got the motion of the grasses that's catching my attention, and then very quickly I was drawn to this dark, dense shadow that's to the left of me. Now I must remember, give my eyes some energy. Oh, thank you. Now what you will notice when you do this exercise is that in front of you, your vision, generally speaking, is pretty sharp. And as you move out here, things are a lot more blurry, which means that what you're seeing out here in your peripheral vision can potentially make for a really good photograph because you're only really going to notice the really interesting things. For instance, you're not going to notice a subject that just blends into the background. You're going to notice really prominent subjects that are quite dense or that have interesting shadows and shapes to them, which means that they could potentially make for a really good, defined, strong image. Another thing you may notice is colours. Here today I've got so much blue around me, that's not really the case. But if I was in a woodland, for instance, and I was doing this, there may be some interesting flowers to one side that I may not have noticed when I first arrived. And doing this is going to draw my attention to that colour. And the main thing that I personally notice when I do this is movement. And when I come somewhere like this, like the coast, one of my favourite things to photograph is birds flying through the sky. And the thing is, if I notice those birds when they're right in front of me, I've kind of lost the opportunity to photograph them. I really need to see them when they're coming in from the sides, which tapping into the peripheral vision allows me to do. But equally, if you've got anything in your environment that's moving, whether it's water, the wind moving subjects, or some wildlife. Like I mentioned, I saw a bee or a fly flying past me here, which shows me that there's the opportunity here to photograph insects, which I didn't even consider when I arrived. So what originally started as me coming here thinking it's a midday sun, there's pretty much nothing in the sky because it's complete blue sky days. It's hazy in the distance, so I can't really photograph what's over the sea. We've got some lovely mountains here because they're hazy. And the tide's in, so there's no pools of water and shapes in the sand. Has now turned into, okay, the sea is a beautiful colour and it's well worth photographing today. We've got movement in these marram grasses, so that's a great photographic opportunity. I've seen an insect flying at the side of my vision, so there's insects here that I can potentially find to photograph. And we've got this very defined dark shadows, which could make for some really nice abstract images. So just by doing this exercise in a location like this, which may seem very vast and like what on earth do I photograph, I already have at least 4 options. And then we have the other situation. Let's imagine I come here today and there's no denying it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, look at this. Many people would come here and be so excited by the beauty that they potentially wouldn't know where to start photographically. So how does this exercise help with this? Well, what this exercise does is it gently forces you to sit down, to take in the scenery on a much slower pace. So you're not just looking around and going, oh my God, it's so beautiful, which I mean is exciting, but it doesn't always allow us to create images that really speak to us. And sometimes if that continues, it can get a bit overwhelming. But by sitting down or standing and simply doing this, you start to take in that landscape and that scenery on a much slower level. And you then begin to realise, okay, when I'm doing this, what is it that's really catching my attention? Here today, initially, it's the colour of the sea. Okay, that's a great place to start. Then we had the grasses. Okay, maybe I'll move on to that after the sea. Then we had the insects. Oh, maybe I'll try and find some insects after that. And then we've got the shadows. So it's like, okay, great for abstract opportunities. And then you've almost got like a step-to-step guide in some ways that you can then start to photograph these subjects one by one, or you can choose one, the one that speaks to you the most, to really focus on. So that you're not like, whoa, and taking in everything and just so excited that then you're just running around like a headless chicken. You're able to still take in the landscape, still feel that beauty, but things are much more easily managed and you can begin to slow down and create those images. So now that I've done the exercise and I've identified some relatively strong subjects, I'm going to now photograph them all, if I can. The insect might be a challenging one, although I've seen quite a few ants going around. I've got one in my bag just now, so maybe won't get a fly, but an ant will be a good backup for that. So what I've got with me today is my 70 to 400 millimetre lens, which I'm going to start with as I zoom into the sea to photograph the beautiful blue colour. What was interesting me was the colour, not necessarily the water itself. So I'm trying to think of ways that I can really show that colour. And I've just been zooming in with this lens and just kind of taking some generic images of the water moving. Not particularly happy with them. They're quite flat and, in my opinion, a little bit boring. So what I might do is try and get the camera to about half a second to a second if I'm lucky. I don't have any filters with me, the sun's out, it could be quite challenging. If I put the ISO down as low as I can and just see if I can get that slightly longer shutter speed to do a little bit of intentional camera movement, because sometimes when you've got a situation like this that little bit of motion can sometimes bring out the colour and create a really nice abstract image. So let's give it a go and see if I can do this beautiful colour some justice.
The static water images were quite nice in the end, especially this one. But when I flipped to intentional camera movement, beautiful artistic impressions were birthed. I especially love this one. The colour and textured layering of the waves reminds me of a pastel drawing.
So the second thing that caught my attention was these grasses, because at the time of doing that exercise there was a little bit of a breeze and it was moving the grass around a little bit, so I could see that in my peripheral vision. So what I'm going to do is maybe probably try and create some sort of abstract image with this. I might start with the same lens, zooming in with the blue in the background, combining both together, and yeah, take it from there.
I began by photographing the grass as it was, getting creative with focusing by using a lower aperture to blur the backgrounds. The blurry effect enabled me to create a sense of motion, leading to these abstract images.
I'm not overly confident about this one, but let's see if I can find some insects to photograph. Looking for ants. I just saw one, but then he buried himself in the sand. Oh, here's one. Gosh, they're fast. They are fast. Well, ants are proving to be pretty difficult to photograph. They are so incredibly fast. I think you need a lot of patience and time, which I haven't really got today. I think I have one image that's in focus. It's not great, but I still photographed the ants, and I would never even considered photographing insects here if I hadn't have seen that one fly past me when I was doing the finger exercise.
The only slightly in focus image I came away with was this one. Not perfect by any means, but I love the composition and admiring the beautiful grains of sand.
And then we had this dark shadow here. Hello. But it was kind of this area here that was really interesting me at the time. Down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually walk down there, get a bit closer to it, and zoom in to some of the rocks and create a nice abstract image of dark and light with the beautiful pebbles.
On the back of the camera, these had been my favourite images. Upon editing, I'm not so sure. I am always mesmerised by pebbles though, and photography is a fantastic tool in enabling us to see the variety of colours, textures and minerals that make up these incredible rocks.
So there we have it. While I'm not over the moon with the images I created today, I had so much fun creating them, especially the ones down with the shadow and the pebbles. I just loved zooming in and seeing the contrast between the highlights and the shadows. And it was quite fun watching the little ant running around as well. So yeah, it's been, I think, a successful outing in so many ways, especially given it's middle of the day, it's complete sunny and the tide is in. This is the sort of conditions that I would normally just dismiss, but thanks to the finger exercise, I was able to at least identify a couple of opportunities and give them a go. So next time you're faced with a situation where you go onto location and you actually want to do photography, because I'm not saying you have to take images, it's sometimes nice just to come out and enjoy being in nature. But if you do head out and you do want to create images, but you either can't find anything to photograph or see so much beauty that you don't know where to start, give this exercise a go. And if you have a QiGong instructor near you, I'd highly recommend going along to a class. It's a really lovely practice to connect with. And I've got one last nugget to share with you before the end of today. Now, I know some of you watch my videos and you see the beautiful scenery I'm in and you wish that you were here. I have a song I'd like to share with you. It's called There's So Much Magnificence by Diva Premel and a guy beginning with a name of M. Gosh, I've completely forgotten it. I'll put it here. This song, every time I listen to it, I am transported to the sea. It's all about the waves and the lyrics combined with the melody. If you close your eyes when you listen to it, it's impossible not to imagine you're by the sea on a beautiful sunny day like today. So I'm going to put the link to that song in the description. I can't play it obviously because of copyright, but I'll put the link in the description. It's a beautiful song that will also expand your vision by getting you to connect with the incredible power of the imagination. I hope you found this exercise interesting. I'd love you now to head out and give it a go for yourself. Let me know how you get on. And if you find you get great benefit from doing it, be sure to share this video with anybody that you think would benefit. It'd be lovely to help people expand their vision and find all the incredible photographic opportunities that surround them. And this is just one of many exercises that you can try to do that. Thank you so much for watching. Wishing you a very blessed and creative week.